Good evening once again. Welcome to the second edition of News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jedan Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakoni in the Sign Language Corner. Vice President Jessica Alupo has implored African airlines to forge strategic alliances to navigate the ever-changing aviation landscape as the continent's air travel industry seeks to unlock its immense potential. She was addressing over 500 delegates at the 55th Africa Airlines Association Annual General Assembly at Speak Resort Munyonyo.
This AFRA-AGA, a gathering of aviation industry leaders, focused on critical themes such as the single Africa air transport market, a flagship initiative aimed at liberalizing the skies across Africa and sustainable aviation practices.
AFRA intends to play a pivotal role in navigating African airlines by charting a sustainable path in support of rejuvenating the continent's aviation industry through specific support measures.
Opening the General Assembly, Vice President Alupo emphasized the importance of growing air transport to facilitate intra-Africa connectivity.
Be as bold as possible and discuss the hurdles to the industry's growth and to challenges which affect us, and think around the issues holding us back. Because I asked the minister when we were coming here that this AGM is which number? He said it is the 55th AGM. So we have had the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, that's up to 55th. But there are still those very big challenges in the African airline. But we have had 55 meetings of this kind. So I was telling the minister that let this 55th meeting make a breakthrough so that when we now have the 56th meeting, we shall be enumerating the achievements.
On her part, Uganda Airlines CEO Jennifer Wamturaki highlighted the need to address Africa's stagnant share of the global passenger market, which remains at a mere 2.1%.
This is a result of many factors, among them the status of the African economy, visa restrictions, and closed markets within the continent. However, it can be argued that the fastest way to improve this metric is to speed up market liberalization, to increase intra-African travel, and justify why we need to invest as operators with additional aircraft or capacity, infrastructure upgrades, and regulatory revisions.
While SATAM holds the promise of boosting connectivity on the African continent, some delegates attending this 55th AFRA Annual General Assembly expressed reservations on its ability to single-handedly propel the African aviation industry forward in its current state.
Allow me to restate that SATAM is not a magic wand and needs supportive action in other areas before its full benefits can be realized. For instance, we cannot hope to make headway without opening our borders so that citizens can travel unimpeded.
For example, Nigeria, who has the two most expensive airports, who charge in dollars, who owe the airline industry $850 million. $850 million. How is SATAM going to work when a country is allowed to do that, who then wants to launch SATAM and was on the first cluster of AFCAC's plan, able to walk away and damage airlines?
In the face of these challenges, players in the aviation industry have urged African airlines to embrace collaboration and adoptive innovation strategies. Samuel Senono, UBC News in Munyonyo.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has met leaders from PG districts in preparations for the forthcoming agricultural expo slated for this weekend. This is part of the countrywide farmer education mobilization, value addition and service delivery campaign to improve productivity, production and profitability.
The leaders, who included Yusuf Nsibambi, the area member of parliament, and Martin Sejemba, the district LC5 chairman of MPG, applauded the central government for the initiative to awaken farmers on value addition.
I appreciate very much the program the president has put on the desk of the prime minister to come and speak to the farmers to really look at value crops than producing crops which are not going to help them. So we have been looking at crops like green vegetables, artificial insemination, all those kind of things have been mentioned by the Prime Minister. And we really appreciate the Office of the President and the Prime Minister for reaching this information to our farmers.
However, Sejemba says the district is grappling with several challenges ranging from inadequate electricity, lack of district hospitals, lack of funds to rehabilitate the hundreds of kilometers of roads.
We need to construct many bridges, but the funds that we do get cannot support us to construct roads. So we are asking, like it has been considered in other districts. MPG is amongst them. We present quite a lot of kilometers that now are even more than 1,000 kilometers of culvert that requires our intervention. So it's very sincere, and including in matters of health, that MPG is amongst the many districts that are stuck in health facilities. We do not have a hospital. We have constituents that do not even have a health center for.
The Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, reminded the congregation that President Yoweri Museveni came up with 6 policy proposals to help farmers benefit from agriculture. Nabanja says that government has put in place an enabling environment, but people have remained trapped in poverty, hence the President's guidance.
Agamba nti bino ebyensigo n'ebikola mu nnimiro byonna, ente, embuzi, obumyu, kapa, embizi, ensigo yalibadde ekwatibwako gavumenti mu kugirungamya, kubanga ebicupuli bikoze eki bisusse katale. Era tulina kye tukoze kyenja okubannyonnyola. Kati tumaze omwaka nga tulina kye tuyiiya, naye kati tusimbudde. Twagala ensi etandike okulaba nga ensigo ey'ekicupuli ejja wano empigi ekoseza ddala omuntu wa bulijjo.
The farmer education mobilization, value addition and service delivery campaign is now in Gomba, Butambala and Mpigi districts.
The House of Bishops of the Church of Uganda, sitting at St. Stephen's Cathedral, Naluwerere in East Busoga Diocese, has elected Venerable Canon Moses Banja as the 6th Bishop of Namidembe Diocese. He will be consecrated and enthroned on the 10th of December 2023 at St. Paul's Cathedral, Namidembe. Venerable Banja, who was born on the 20th of October 1964 in Nakabogo, Bida, Busiro. He accepted Jesus as his personal savior on the 23rd of December 1989, ordained in 1996 and priested in 1998. He's married to Reverend Canon Professor Olivia Nasaka Banja with 3 children. Canon Banja holds a bachelor's degree in divinity from Makerere University and a postgraduate diploma in education still from Makerere University. He's currently the Archdeacon of Luzira Archdeaconry in Namidembe Diocese. A UPDF soldier who lost his left arm at Usafi Mosque during the arrest of suspects in the murder case of SUZAN Magara has testified in court. Sergeant Issa Bidiasudi, attached to the Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence, said that while on operation at Usafi Mosque arresting the suspects who were hiding in the mosque, his arm was cut off by unknown people who came from the mosque.
Judge Alex Ajiji of High Court Criminal Division in Kampala is still proceeding with the hearing of the case, where 9 suspects are accused of kidnap and murder of SUZAN Magara. Prosecution witness number 11 was a UPDF soldier, Sergeant Isabire Subi, attached to the chieftains of military intelligence at Imbuya. The witness, who was not allowed to be captured on cameras, is alleged to have been a soldier whose arm was cut off during an operation that had been mounted to arrest suspects in the murder case of SUZAN Magara, who are reported to have been hiding in Usafi Mosque. Sergeant Isabire told court that on 22nd February 2018, during an operation at Usafi Mosque, some people came from the mosque shouting Allah Akbar, carrying pangas, and during the scuffle to have the suspects arrested. His arm was chopped off.
Wakati tumeweza kupata oda kwamba twende kwa mlango hiyo, mimi mwenyewe komanda nilikuwa niko mbele, yani nilikuwa kwenye uniform. Baada ya kwenda kufika kwa mlango, ilikuwepo mjamaa mmoja alikuwa karibu na mlango. Wakati nimsongelea nataka nizungumze na yeye, alikimbia akarudi ndani. Akaingia ndani, huko sehemu kuna msikiti. Wakati nimesubiri hata hajafika dakika moja, nawaza ameenda kuita mkubwa yake, yani nilikuwa subiri kama anafanya kwa gate. Moja kwa moja nilisikia hapo mtu anakuja kama anasema Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ukwenda, yani nilikuwa sina uwezo wa kusema nipige risasi au nini. Nasubiri huyo mwenye anasema Allahu Akbar. Na vile ilikuwa mkajiza kidogo. Kumbe alisaweka hapa panga mara moja, nimesikia mkono amenikata mkono.
Isabire told court he found out that he had no arm after 2 weeks while bedridden in hospital. Despite the submissions, Sergeant Isabire Subi couldn't identify to court among the accused who exactly chopped off his hand. Detective Kayondo Lawrence, a forensic officer attached to the Uganda Police Force, was the prosecution witness number 12. Kayondo told court that he took all photos as physical pieces of evidence, among others, SUZAN Magara's 2 cut fingers, 2 mobile phones, which were used by kidnappers to demand for a ransom, SUZAN Magara Toyota RAV4 car, and a memory card containing SUZAN Magara's video crying for help.
That the motor vehicle which was abandoned was a RAV4, registration number UAJ 790W. That was parked on a slope terrain facing downwards. I and other officers present, we searched the vehicle. We found out that the vehicle we found when the driver's door was open, its handbrake was in a parking position.
The said photos and forensic report were presented to court. The witnesses were cross-examined by the defense legal team.
I forwarded them to the Directorate of Forensics to use another technique called chemical analysis. The exhibits I recovered, I categorically stated that the biological exhibits that were the cut-off fingers were submitted to Government Analytical Lab for DNA.
Judge Alex Ajij adjourned the case to Tuesday this week for further hearing, and the accused were remanded to Ruzila Government Prison. Deborah Namamonde, SUZAN in Nabugudde, UBC News.
Mourners flocked the late Joyce Mpanga's home in Lunguja, Lubaga Division to bereave with the deceased family following the passing on of the woman emancipation icon. During a requiem service at St. Stephen's Church in Lunguja, Reverend Canon B.K. Buwembo described the deceased as an outstanding public servant during her time as minister. The deceased will be buried on Thursday in her ancestral home, Maya, Mpigi District.
The main funeral service, the burial itself will be on Thursday at 2 p.m. in Maya on Masaka Road. There'll be prayers in Maya on Masaka Road at 11 o'clock on Thursday. Before that, we'll have prayers in Namirembe Cathedral at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. and a vigil here at her home in Lunguja on Wednesday night. On Tuesday, we've set aside Tuesday for Parliament to honor her. We're still waiting for the details of how that is to be handled, but Tuesday is the day on which Parliament, she was a parliamentarian right from LegCo. She served in the 5th and 6th Parliaments and was a minister as well. So His Excellency was pleased to grant her an official burial, but Parliament is set aside for Tuesday.
Era nze mukama ono mulungi kubanga mama Mpanga bali tebawandiise ekitabo neze bwe nawandiika ekyange ne mbaka mwina okuwandika mukyala Mpanga bwe yagenda kuwandika ekitabo kye title yali It's a pity, it's not a, it's a pity she's a girl.
Bwe ntunulira obulamu bwa mukyala Joyce Mpanga siina kubuusabuusa kwonna akoze ebyo byonna Omukama bye muteekerateekera okukola mu nsi ku sayidi ey'obuweereza mu gavumenti, ku sayidi ey'obuweereza mu gavumenti y'abeene, ku sayidi ey'ebyenjigiriza, ku sayidi ey'eddiini, ku sayidi ey'abantu abakyala bazaakwatako mu kuweereza mu bakyala.
Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera has challenged judicial officers to ensure quality while handling cases in courts. The Deputy Chief Justice, in company of 3 other judges, are in Arua for a 2-day handle criminal cases in the Court of Appeal in northern Uganda, including Lango and West Nile.
But as we improve, let's also focus on the quality of work, and this should be from everybody.
While admitting that the number of judicial officers is not enough in the country, the Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera noted that the government is working on the manpower gap.
If we have to deal with the case backlog, then one of the starting points is having enough judicial officers, enough lawyers. Now that we have 4 chief magistrates and a resident judge in Arua, and resident judges in Iguru, it's true the magistrates and judges are not yet enough, but have we not improved?
He challenged lawyers to read judgments of the Court of Appeal that are available online in order to know what the Court of Appeal is doing.
But for the lawyers, you don't have to be physically there. And the judgments of the Court of Appeal for all these sessions that we have held are on you. Your first duty as a lawyer is to study and keep reading.
The chairperson of Uganda Law Council, Irene Muliagonja, who is part of the panel, called upon practicing lawyers to mentor what she called young lawyers fresh from Law Development Center to avert errors in court sessions.
So as Uganda Law Society, it is important that you take on young advocates and mentor them. We see a lot of embarrassment when people appear in the Court of Appeal. Sometimes they do not know, even deportment, how to dress up when you are coming before the court.
The Deputy Chief Justice says alternative dispute resolution mechanism works best in the current situation of inadequate judicial officers to address case backlogs.
You are handling appeals from 81 judges of the High Court, and we have to service that with only 3 panels. So for the time being, we shall not be able to extend civil sessions here. We think alternative dispute resolution mechanism in both civil and criminal cases will handle much of the backlog we have. Judiciary has been training retired and retiring judges and magistrates, and very soon they will be deployed to handle alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. This has been done with the help of Pepperdine University.
The panel of 3 judges is handling 31 cases with 15 murder cases, 3 robbery and 13 defilement cases. Last year, Court of Appeal handled 40 cases in Arua. Joseph Odamam, UBC News.
Police in North Kyoga region has impounded 7 trucks used by vendors for accessing daily markets in northern Uganda. Police say the operation was done to assess the mechanical condition of the vehicles due to the several accidents involving the vendor trucks.
The involvement of vendors' trucks in several road accidents has become a public concern, prompting police to launch an operation on trucks owned by one businessman, and out of the 8 trucks, only one was found mechanically fit to be on the road. The trucks ferry both merchandise and vendors to the daily markets.
There was a lot of complaint. That's why all of their vehicles today, they are here. No of any vehicle of his has gone for work, apart from the 2 which has got accident and is in the police. After inspection, we are going to the class to teach them what they are supposed to do on the road.
The inspector of vehicles at North Kyoga Police Region told UBC that the vehicles had issues with the suspension system, electrical system and oil leaks.
In an event of the driver trying to brake, the shock absorber will play a very great role, because in the first place it helps the tire in the grip, on the road grip, and that's why the vehicle will stop exactly on that point, and it will not move in front and it will not move behind.
The truck owners who requested to be pardoned for the errors explained that the leaf springs they increase from 5 to 12 is to maneuver through the poor roads and the weight they carry. The regional traffic officer, Matthias Opi, says the operation will not stop against trucks in poor mechanical condition.
That one, I'm not going to tolerate. As the regional traffic officer, North Kyoga, I'm not. If you don't want to follow the law, park your vehicle. If not, go and drive in heaven, where there's no people.
The 2022 police crime report shows that Uganda registered a 16.9% increase in road accidents, while 61 of all accidents were due to reckless driving. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
The director, Imathia Concrete Sleeper Factory, Lugazi, Roberto Oliez, has informed the public that the plant will soon complete the manufacture of the concrete sleepers required for the construction of the Kampala-Namamve Mukono line.
Inaugurated by President Museveni in Lugazi, the plant was contracted to manufacture concrete sleepers that will replace steel-made sleepers. The plant has since then attracted educational tours from the public to explore the various stages of sleeper manufacturing. A delegation from Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers have attested to the timeliness of these sleepers, saying they will boost rail transport.
Concrete has lower maintenance. When it comes to safety, it cannot easily be tampered with.
There are lots of things to learn from here, especially for the upcoming projects. We've seen the advantages and disadvantages, but of course the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
The concrete sleepers are the most suitable technology in modern railways for meter gauge and standard gauge rail option, mainly because of their safety, comfort, speed, less vandalism, among others.
Concrete sleeper have a weight of 190 kilos. It's more heavy, and they give to the truck more durability and stability. Means this is more comfort in the way, more security, and this is the reason that they live more even. There are not corrosion, and they are basically more heavy, and they are stressed, they are compressed. Means they are special for dynamic load.
When you add whatever you studied in class, you add it with this, immediately you can catch up. So they gave us enough training. We have staff, like you saw, 99.9 is Ugandan, and all of them are trained. With supervision or without supervision, they can produce this slipper.
The plant, which is set to complete the manufacture of slippers required for the Kampala-Namave-Mukono rail line, has the capacity to supply slippers for the whole rehabilitation works the rail is undergoing. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Agencies and partners in climate change concerns have been urged to support women in driving agriculture and climate protection as they play a key role in sustaining families and protecting nature. The issue was raised by the third Deputy Prime Minister Hajat Lukia Nakadama at a discussion on how women can be involved in agriculture and climate organized in Kampala by the International Center for Biosaline Agriculture through Women Alliance for Climate Action.
The project comprised agricultural production and enhanced nutrition.
Climate change determines different working methods, but affects agriculture and livestock among other activities. Even though women are the most involved in activities accounting for average of 43% of the agricultural labor force, their contribution is unrecognized. The third Deputy Prime Minister, also Minister without portfolio Hajat Lukia Nakadama SANGA, has called for the prioritization and support of women in climate and agriculture.
Responsibility is to harness and amplify these strengths, ensuring that women are active participants and leaders in climate, smart agriculture practices, and sustainable development. Empowering women farmers to increase their income and contribute to food security is essential. And I challenge the Ministry of Agriculture and financial institutions to prioritize and support the female farmers. It is heartening to witness collaborative efforts that span regions as we share experiences, lessons learned, and best practices.
A research on women involved in food production, especially in developing countries, shows that ownership of land remains a concern.
Uganda land ownership is a very big issue because, truth be told, the cultural debate around land ownership where women don't own land, it is the men who own land. And yet we are the most players in agriculture, and because we're the most players in agriculture, we are also the ones highly affected by the climate change. So if you don't own land, we have already pieces of land that are being washed, or they're being waterlogged, or they're being submerged, and the same woman who was renting this piece of land now has to look for another piece of land to farm on. So how does that work? So policy issues also need to be looked at, and cultural issues with respect to these issues of the of land ownership amongst women.
To bridge the gaps of lack of adequate skills, resources, empower women in agriculture through policies, among other negative impacts of climate change, International Center for Biosaline Agriculture through Women Alliance for Climate Action in Agriculture, in partnership with the Kampala University Original and supported by Islamic Development Bank, have organized a regional strategic dialogue.
This dialogue is very much important for so many reasons. One of it is because we see the impact of climate change is already happening, whether in the increase of temperature, whether in water scarcity, or also in floods or even a drought season. So the importance of looking at how is climate change impacting women farmers in particular is very much important for us. Center has been doing a number of research on crops like millets, sorghum, also on fodders and forages that will be good for livestock. It's very much important to have these kind of crops adopted by the farmer. Also, we're talking about innovation on how can we use different type of technologies to identify diseases associated with the plants, and also technologies that will help us when it comes to the soil. As we know, there are a number of lands that has salinity level. Karamoja area, for example, it's one of the areas that we will be working and finding solutions of working with the farmer and enhancing their productivity through soil amendment.
Experts say the exclusion of women in agriculture and climate change also affects the country's GDP.
More women in working on food, nutrition, and water security issues in general and agriculture research in particular is one way to boost much-needed innovation. Studies have shown that gender-balanced teams improve innovation and productivity. The gender gap in Uganda agriculture's productivity of 13%. Can you mind 13%? Which equate to losses of 1.6% of GDP. So when women are left behind, there's a productivity loss of 1.6% of GDP. Now look at Uganda's GDP and take 1.6% out of that. This is what we are looking.
Through engaging academia and through capacity building, the impact of climate change can be addressed.
Since the focus today is on women and empowering women, definitely we feel like empowering the capacity is simply through capacity development, through building capacities.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Thank you so much for watching. We're taking a very short break. On return, we'll talk business and sports news.
Jovia. Ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu. Nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa. Amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo. Okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo. Ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia, kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kumu ku ky'osobola okukola omukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
Abawanguzi bawadi ya Best East African Brand 2023 bakutegekedde omusomo. gwegwo the great sound down 8 sata zimera kumiti okukubira okubanga 26 November paka nga 2 December Wikotorio Mall Hall rooftop omusomesa waffe yomukenkufu Nyanzi Julius ekyuma kiwagala kyuma musansi ne teknologiya mwe muli okola ebigimusa okuva mu pampa z'abaana n'enjazi za Vermiculite okukamula omubisi mu menvu ng'embidde ng'okozesa ekyuma okutandikawo obukolero ng'okukola sabuni wa habo n'okukola ebibiriiti kugateka ennima ey'omulembe ng'okulima ekitiko okutukwa abakadde kanodama mushroom okulima ensogasoga jangu oyiga okugattako omutindo gamba ng'okukola ebizigo n'omubisi okuva mu kigagi okukamula butto mu nsogasoga nga tiketi ya $10,000 ng'ofunirako tule y'amagi ga safrani n'ekitiko kya ganodama so satu ez'okubakya nga tutandika buukinga tiketi yo ng'ogigula ku mobile money ku noti 7 noti 3 152
African Airline Association, in conjunction with Uganda Airlines, presents the 55th AFRA Annual General Assembly between the 19th and 21st November 2023 at Speak Resort Hotel, Munyonyo, in the heart of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. In attendance will be 500 high-profile African and global aviation leaders, 40 airline CEOs making strides to transform aviation for development. The 55th AFRA AGA is proudly powered by
Jovia ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa Jovia kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli
tewali kkubo ku ki ky'osobola okukola ku mukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
Bule Foundation's 2023 Gala Dinner with the theme Feeding the Hungry and Deprived Children, happening on the 25th November 2023 at Sheraton Hotel. Tickets are 100K for single and 1 million for a table. You can also come with things to donate like clothes, shoes, and others. For more info, please contact 0774 508202 or 0753 05 5437 or 0704 499543 and Momo Pay 198377.
UBC Business News tonight. Government has pledged support towards Ugandans living in South Africa through the reduction of taxes on the imports from there. The government chief whip Hampton Oboa, who is in South Africa for the commissioning of the organization umbrella for Ugandans living in that country, was speaking during the event.
The government chief whip has urged Ugandans living in South Africa to be united and avoid sectarianism. He was addressing Ugandans living in South Africa in Pretoria City.
Because all we are talking about is to encourage our countrymen and women to invest back home. So when they invest back home, the terms and conditions or the environment back at home, 360 degrees, must be an environment that can facilitate their investment back at home.
Badru Chibombo Sentongo, the leader of Ugandan chapter South Africa, says the organization aims at uniting all Ugandan citizens living in South Africa.
Ntegeeza ne baganda bange bonna batasobodde twegattako olwaleero nga bali mu kulwanyisa kino ekiriwo nti ekyo tebakikola mu mutima gwabwe Sseruganda era nsaba omutima ogubagwemu nti newankubadde tulina enjawukana mu by'obufuzi e Uganda baleke ekigattawana ate ndi musanyufu nti bangi nnyo kuba subscribinga mu kibiina ekyo ng'ate bakulembeze mu kousa ate bonna we bali olwaleero.
Ugandan ambassador to South Africa Paul Amuru will spearhead negotiations for Ugandans to be allowed enter South Africa on visa-free entrance.
So in a nutshell, we have scored because when we come together and converge like we have done, then we have opportunity to pick up the issues. Some of them we are getting to know for the first time because we had never had opportunity to meet a large group of Ugandans at the same time.
So we need to really encourage all Ugandans and more especially the leadership of this convention to make sure don't tire, don't give up, just promote and make it better.
The head of Ugandans working in South Africa, Philip Kakuru, tipped Ugandans who want to work in South Africa.
The second day of the summit, it's the culmination and the fulfillment of the dream that we've always had as Ugandans coming together. And
we need guidance on how we can implement such projects that would involve the government. Secondly, we need financial support in whichever way that we can raise the finances to execute the projects that we can decide to undertake as a united front of Ugandans in Southern African region.
You can come to South Africa, you can start with difficulties, you can stay at a friend's place, but you can leave South Africa when you have a Kanuga auto parts.
Kasese Municipality restaurant owners Emioga Sacco can now justify the progress of the program after receiving seed capital, 50 million shillings, which has moved them to another step. The Moga Program is a presidential initiative that was introduced in 2020 to tackle the issue of poverty and household income.
Some Ugandans have used this program as a ladder to success through proper utilization of the Myoga funds. According to the Kasese Municipality Restaurant Owners Myoga Circle members, the Myoga seed capital has improved their incomes. They say that in addition to operating restaurants, they have started maize milling as an added project, which they think can also fetch profits for them. Myoga Sacco, Grace Asaba, requested government to continue supporting them because their dream is to supply maize flour to the neighboring countries.
Twatandika kati mwaka gumwe mabega kati by December tuba tumala omwaka naye tulabe nga kikola nayo newe kikola kyetaaga sente nyingi ate ze tutayina.
Kasese Municipality Municipal Commercial Officer Wambale Godfrey, however, noted that some Myoga categories are not flexible with money recovery, giving them a hard task in implementing the program.
The one for the youths and the performing artists and the fishermen, they are not, and border they are not doing well at all. But we keep on trying to support them, we keep trying to meet them and give them some training.
The RDC Kasese District Lieutenant Joe Walusimbi confirms that due to the continuous sensitization of the Myoga beneficiaries, money recovery among the group members has improved.
We continue the sensitization, informing them that this is their own program and their own money. Nobody is going to take away their money. It is a revolving fund within themselves. So they accepted. They have started responding. I'm happy to report.
The Uganda Cranes are preparing for the second World Cup qualifier game against Somalia that will be played tomorrow, 21st November 2023 in Morocco.
Having lost to Guinea last week, the Cranes are hoping to record their first victory of their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign when they face Somalia in Morocco on Tuesday the 21st of November 2023.
Behind Haitem Lucif to prod the ball home.
The Cranes need to respect all opponents they face.
So I think if you face Somalia or want to take revenge, or for them it's a home game, it will be also a difficult game. But I think if we can bring the same motivation, the same attitude, the same engagement on the field, the same battle that we have been doing, that we can have a good game. So against Somalia, we know it will be a very tough, very difficult game, but it's always in the head, which is very important, the mentality. But if I see the mentality what the players have been bringing against Guinea, if they can bring it against Somalia, I think then we have a chance to get a good result. But that's first of all the thing that we need on the pitch.
The national team captain is aware that the country hopes the players can record a victory in the final game of the year.
We love them, and we just ask for them to pray for us and support us. They don't need to give up. They need to support us for every game. And I know we shall deliver. Yeah, we lost the game, but we did not lose the battle. So what I know, all of us, the coaches, the administration, the management, they are behind us, the fans, they are behind us. They saw what we did and they saw what we can do. So I think they also know that we're going to achieve this tomorrow's game.
A victory will be a first step for the Cranes ahead of a difficult qualifying campaign in Group G that will last another 2 years. Marshall, Miro, UBC News.
That brings us to the end of what we had for you tonight. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa, Elizabeth Nakakuni and the whole team, and we wish you the best of the night. Let's catch you in our other programs, especially tomorrow. Bye-bye and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Buli munya-Uganda nayitinga amakuru marungi. UBC West eyina amakuru marungi kandi agali kwesigwa. Leero za program zaayo ziri omu Runyakitara hamwe n'Orufumbira. UBC West eyina tekinologiya ey'omulembe eri kugibaasisa kuhika omu bicweka byona omu ihanga nangu n'aheeru y'eihanga. Tukwatire aha frequencies ezo: Kisoro 97.7 Fama, Kabale 93.7 Fama, Hoima 99.1 Fama, Kampala 105.7 Fama, Mbarara 97.4 Fama, Footpoto 98.8 Fama, Masindi 5 Fama. Kurikiriza UBC West ohurire embaganiza. UBC West empika huna
107.3 Kampala, 96.9 Mbale, 95.7 Jinja, 98.6 Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Butego. UBC Butego.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform,
entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, I've been to